Yeah, I'll tell you the story. So, my father passed away a few months ago, and my sister and I were in his house and going through, for one reason or another, going through some of his personal effects and his possessions. Um, and in a box on a bookshelf, there was this flag, um, which caught my attention when I saw it, and I held it up. And it certainly appeared to, number one, be a historical artifact, something old. And my immediate thought was that it was, an artifact of World War II. And I didn't know anything else about it aside from that. And set it aside for a little bit. I was going through some stuff, but I thought I'd keep a hold of it, and I mentioned it to my sister. I showed her that, within that same day at some point, I said, "Hey, Mitzi, take a look at this." And by coincidence, she had happened to see either, she couldn't remember precisely, but either like on NPR or PBS NewsHour or something, she had seen a segment or heard a segment about your society. And she said, "This rings a bell. I think that's this thing. I think it's these flags that this society is gathering." And then she was struggling to remember the name of it. I don't know. Somehow in the course of events, we managed to either do Google search, or she remembered the name. And then I looked up the OBON Society, and I was attracted. I felt like that was a good mission, and so I packed the flag up and sent it to you. Now, I mentioned in my email to you that, my father he was a child during World War II, and I'm very confident that it was no relative of ours who took possession of this. I believe he probably bought that at an antique shop. And this is a deeply philosophical topic, and you could write 1,000-page book on it, and people have. You mentioned the Stone Age, and I think this is really the key, for as far as I can tell, is humanity hasn't evolved physiologically or instinctually since the Stone Age. What we have done is we've created things that we call civilization, and those things that we call civilization have improved the human lot enormously. Mm-hmm. But we still have this tribal instinct that somebody outside the tribe is a threat to our very existence. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes I feel like people almost aren't to blame, in the sense that it's in their DNA. Yeah. And we have to do those things. We have to create those structures that overcome our DNA. The amount of daily violence that takes place in many parts of the world is a fraction of the daily violence that took place 10,000 years ago. But we've also got a long way to go. And unfortunately, as you're pointing out, the mechanization makes everything a lot easier, and it can make it happen on a much larger scale. I mean, we're almost like primitive cave people with high-tech weapons. It occurs to me that whatever atrocities and horrific things occurred during that war and every other war, that person was somebody's son and brother, and perhaps father or husband. And that moment when people signed those flags and gave it to that person, that was an act of love. It was an act of affection. It was, again, I think, something sacred. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that should just linger in somebody's attic that has no connection to it, right? If there's any possibility of it either being, the way I look at it, is either being restored to some descendant of that person, or at least handled with dignity and respect. That seemed appropriate to me.